always stay in at least one most needed open source technology. So with ChatGPT, AI, and all, they will have their subscriptions coming up. Not always it is going to be free. So someday, and already you guys know that the subscriptions have started coming in for ChatGPT where you have to pay. So do not worry that AI is already doing so much. You will also be able to do it, but then know where to make use of the AI for yourself. Before jumping into that, always learn at least one open source technology. Why? Because there will be lot of companies who do not want to invest on licensed tools when you already have so much powerful open source tool present in the market. So that is why Selenium has always been the buzzword in automation engineering. Why? Because Selenium is a UI, web UI library which is open source, which means you don't have to pay, you don't have to stay in any company to wait for the license. So it has been completely free ever since it has been into the market. So Selenium is one such example when it comes to UI automation. However, you also have API automation, you have backend automation, you have DB automation. So all that, know what libraries come as open source where you do not have to pay, because a lot of companies have been running with automation with open source technologies itself. Next, never stop upskilling. Now, I think Karthik had as a previous question, where how to always not forget what we have already learned. Similar to that is what this thing is also. When you don't want to forget what you have already learned, it does not mean that you have to stay in that very same technology for a very long time. Because eventually, once you start learning and you are ahead of the curve, you will be expected to train your juniors. That is how the IT industry works, right? So we will have all the KT sessions, the upskilling sessions, all that. But at that time, what will happen is you become a senior, your juniors would have learned all that you already know. Then if you want to call yourself a senior, you have to at least know one technology more than what all others know in your team. So never stop upskilling. So that is the only thing that is going to keep your job secure and make you relevant in every day's market. So with a chat gpt, learn how to use it. If a robot framework has come in, if selenium python has come in, selenium javascript has come in, make sure that you are knowing at least something. Make sure that you know at least one latest technology in depth. So never stop upskilling, never stop learning, never stop training. Next, keep yourself one step ahead of the curve, and that is going to be your backup plan. So usually, what happens is companies tend to hire freshers, right? So what will happen? We become more senior, and we a lot of things are expected out of us. So in that case, we need to stay ahead of the curve. We should to take more responsibility, but at the same time, always know something that is latest in the market, and always know how to project yourself. So we will speak about how to project ourselves when you're in a crowd, when you are in a big team, say you are in a team of 50 people and you want to stand out. So how do we do that? So all that we will discuss shortly, but let me keep this more relevant to automation engineering itself for the time being. Know the AI's capabilities and loopholes. So now with ChatGPT in place, you know that if you want to write a code, you can simply go type in write me a code to automate Gmail login page, and it is going to give you the entire code in few seconds. But then, say for instance, you have a latest technology which came in, and ChatGPT is only trained until 2021 data. So in that case, AI may keep learning from you, but it already has a data set which is only until 2021, where we are already ahead of it by 2 years. So know what it knows and know what it cannot do. Exploit it, make use of it, learn what it can and cannot do. All right. So that is something that you have to do yourself, and know the capability and know the loopholes. Be an E2E automation engineer. Very, very underrated statement. Learning Selenium does not end the automation journey. You have to become a full stack tester. Like you might have heard, full stack developers, full stack engineers, all that. So what do? They develop UI, they develop the backend, they develop the middleware. So usually, this is the basic three layers that I'm saying when it comes to any application. You will have the backend where every operation is happening, and you will have the front end, which is the face of the application, which is a web UI web UI or a Windows application that you see, the user interface. But the one that is connecting the backend and the front end is called the middleware. So that is where this API automation comes in. So you might also have heard what kind of jobs you can expect out of automation. So Two things that you'll hear: UI automation, API automation. Do you know what API is? API is the middleware between the back and front. So when you know how to automate the front end and the middleware, you still do not become a full stack engineer. But then you have to know how to automate the back end as well. The back end might be a database. So you should also know how to automate a database, how to read a database, how to write a database, all that you should know. So these three are the basic three things that you need to know when you want to become a full stack automation engineer, which means you do not just know how to automate a UI, but if your project requires a person who can test the backend as well as the API, you should be able to suggest that no, this can be done through automation itself. You don't have to have manual work for this. So that is the level of end-to-end automation engineer that you have to become.